to the Beauty Boss Saga, and we have our guest, Kaitee from KV Beauty. And we are actually going to start talking today. We've run into the questions and concerns and topic about contracted artists and how we set up our business and what we run into. So just brief overview on how both of our business are set up similar. So we both run beauty businesses, specializing in special events and weddings for the most part. And then of course you have your, skincare department. And so we both have that. And so let's get into how you we've structured our business.
Sure.
And kind of the problems that we've run into.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first, sister.
So I don't do employees because there's just so much paperwork and back end that goes along with that. And as far as like being an artist and a business owner, I just don't want to deal with it. And I quite frankly don't want to pay to have someone else manage all of that for me. It's just another added expense. Yeah. So I chose to just work with contractors, and that's 1099. You don't have to worry about paying their taxes.
Sure.
So as far as like a business standpoint, I really like that piece of it. But as far as having control and being able to do what you want, when you want, and how you want to do it, you can't really do that with contractors. So there's kind of pros and cons to both. And I really like having contractors because those types of people are going to work hard like you would for your business. Versus like
they're grinders.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
They see the vision, they get the vision, they do the work. Like that's just, they just get it. So like they're
for the most part,
energy usually and their work ethic are there.
Yeah.
Versus with an employee. An employee is usually someone that's just like, okay, just pay me. Yeah. And I just want to have a job.
And they do bare minimum.
Yeah, basically.
Even if you structure your whole business like, you're like, oh, I have employees. And granted, like I told you before, I've done this over 20 years. So there's been a lot of changes throughout the business. And I feel like when I first started, I did what I knew, right? Which was in the industry at that time, it was very normal for people to have assistants and they would pay, as an employee, or they would say, even the no compete, the whole things. So there was a lot of like mashed up, it wasn't clear cut on like, okay, this is how a 1099 performs, or this is how an employee performs and what that means, especially to the IRS,
and the lines get so blurred.
Oh, girl,
so blurred.
It was and I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Because that's what I knew early on, because that's what was done to me. Right. And so you just continue the cycle. Unfortunately, thank God we moved past that, and we're cycle breakers, not just in our families, but in business too. Because it's like, dang, this is so jacked up.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You're doing more work than you should, or, the expectation is all over the map. So it's just very difficult to run a business sufficiently and seamlessly when there's a lot of like, it's not clear cut,
Right.
So with, like you said, like being an employee, there's different rules to the game. Like if you're going to tell people what to wear, if you're going to tell people where to be, when to be there, they're getting that from you. If you're training people, what's the other thing? If you're the taxes, you're taking out their taxes.
And their schedule. If you control their schedule,
yes,
they're technically an employee.
Right? So that's, and then of course, if it doesn't work out or whatever, there's risks that you take. And this is something that I learned too, is that they can, file for unemployment and all the things. And you have to win cases against that and prove why they were released or terminated. And usually it's valid if you're not working together anymore. But there's a whole other process that is attached to that. Sure. Whereas when you have contractors, you're just like, okay, this is the brand. This is my brand.
This is how we do things.
This is how we do things.
With it or not.
And then you contract out. Now, you don't have as much say. They're in control of their own, taxes and mileage and all the things. You're just paying the rate, right? But we do run into problems, and that as far as holding on to or making sure that your brand stays intact, which is so difficult. And along with those people too, yes, they're hustlers. Yes, they're like great at what they do, but they also, I feel like, have some of them, most have kind of an arrogance with them, almost like, you're not going to tell me what to do because I'm in my,
because I own my own business.
Yeah, exactly. But I really feel like people that are working as contractors, like, they need to know, like,
kind of like the rules of conduct and like how that operates,
like how to behave and how to like realize, like, you're not in competition with each other. You don't have nothing to prove, So anyway, when we look at hiring artists or contracted artists, some of the things that we look for, me personally, I look for, are you humble? Are you like redirecting? You won't know that until you work with somebody, but like if they're redirecting things to solidify your business. Like I had an artist one time, they were literally like selling their side hustle to my clients. And I was like, that brand's not even great. You know what I mean? And that doesn't align with, and she didn't even ask my permission or be like, hey, is this okay? Or is there a product that you would recommend? Someone who would say, hey, Emily, this person has this problem. Do you have a product that they would recommend versus hustling my own? You know what I mean? And then I had another artist who was like, and he's wonderful. He's a wonderful person, but someone asked like, oh, can I have your Instagram? And that happens a lot. Let me follow you. And he was like, oh, well, you can follow Exquisite Reflections on Instagram. And I overheard that and I was like, I love you forever. I don't care what happens. Like that shows so much like respect and loyalty. And those are like my core values, right? Like if you, that's like cha-ching, 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 like that's good. But if those get dropped, if those, that it's shattered, like it's shattered forever if you come against that, in my business. So it's like, I know that that person I will call on like
whenever,
So anyway, so that's one thing for me personally is that I look for, like, are they solidifying and pushing my clients that I paid for and marketed for back into my business? That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the main difference between like someone that I would look for versus someone that I wouldn't look for as far as an artist to contract a work for me, not necessarily like be on my core team, but someone I could call on whatever, cleanliness, sanitation. Those are like two, having a clean, organized, professional kit.
Yeah.
Those are just like standards that shouldn't even be talked about, but it needs to be talked about because sometimes that's just not what people do. So cleanliness, sanitation, having a professional kit with like quality pro products, and then obviously the talent has to be there, right?
Sure.
And then what you're talking about is just respecting the business. And if I'm offering a service, like say my company's offering a service and the artist that I'm hiring also offers the same service, they're not allowed to talk about themselves offering that service. They can be like, hey, the company offers this, my name is such and such, please reach out to whoever the company owner is, whatever. Reach out to the company and say, hey, I would love to get this service from this artist on your team. And then you keep the business there and everybody's happy. Everybody's fed. They're getting paid. You're getting paid. Like it's, and then you keep that client relationship. And then you also don't have that disrespect from that artist. And then that working relationship is going to continue to grow and to work.
Right.
So it's like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Right?
You.
Yeah.
Right. And when you have a contracted artist, I always say like, yes, you have a customer, but like, yes, you're working on the customer, but that is not your customer.
Correct.
Right.
I think that's where the line really gets blurred.
Right.
When you're contracted, it's not you as the artist. It's not your company. It's not your name. It's not your brand. It's not your identity. It is you are part of this company, this other person's company, and you're representing them.
Yeah.
Like you put on that hat and you say, hi, I'm with such and such. Like I had a training with my girls the other day and I said, hey guys, this is how you walk into a room and introduce yourself.
Right.
first things first. Hi, I'm Sarah with KV Beauty. I'm here to do your hair today, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you say, I'm so excited. Follow us on Instagram. Like, just set the tone of like, hey, we are part of a team, our Instagram. This is where you can find us. This is where you book us. This is what services we offer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But some people don't do that. They're like, oh, this is my Instagram. Come book with me. Yeah. And I'm like, girl, they're never going to book with you.
Yeah.
They're not.
And would you even return their email if they did?
That.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no.
But if you're like going, in with a business who's established and whatever, you always want to push business back to that business.
Yeah, totally.
And realize that the customer that's in your seat is not your customer. Your customer is that business that is hiring you. Mm-hmm. You're providing a service for the business, not for that person who's in your chair. So if that business requires you to take before and after photos, they might not post it and they might not like push you and stuff on social media or whatever. But I require them to take before and afters, not because I want to go and, I mean, if it's great work, I'll post it and then tag them and all of the things, right? Because I believe in that. Mm-hmm. But I also want to, it's a liability. Yeah. Like especially if I'm not there, I want to know what that client looked like before, what they look like soon after they got done. Because I have had brides call me 6 months later.
That's crazy.
Talk about crazy.
Like they can't
crazy on so many levels. But she, in my instance, this bride said, oh, I hate my pictures. I want all my money back from the trial, from the day of, the tip that she gave. This, I'm like, well, if you're so unhappy, then why'd you tip her? But she wanted all of it back. And I was like, well, what's the problem? You know? And she said, well, I got my pictures back and my eyeshadow was silver. And at the time, we did not have silver or blue in our kits. So I knew something was amiss.
You're like, this is not right.
Something's wrong. And so at the end of the day, like I had my artists also at that time. Now, this is my core team. This wasn't a contractor situation. But I always had them do event reports and just a brief synopsis how everything went. If someone got into an argument in the bridal party, they would note that or whatever. Just because I wasn't there. And if I could tell just by reading that there was strife there was some sort of instance, I knew that maybe, kind of dog ear that one just in case to follow up with them, make sure everybody was happy, all of that. So like I said, there's business associated with not, outside of the service. But back to my story, if I didn't have that after photo, as soon as she was done, now she sent me her wedding pictures and they were silver. It was like some jacked up Maybelline stuff, whatever. I was like, these look really bad. Yeah, you're right. Your pictures are bad. But the artist took the after photo right before they left and there was no silver, no nothing. So
somebody must have put makeup on her.
She did. Yeah, it was her sister-in-law at the time that she wanted to fix it. I said, well, was the artist there still? And she said, yeah. I said, why didn't you go back to the artist and have her fix it? She would have been happy to do it. Yeah. But I said here, like on this report, said that you gave her a $75 tip and you hugged her and said you were so happy at the end of the thing. So tell me again. And so she was like, so she contacted her attorney. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we can do this, boo-boo. And so the attorney contacted me and I said, listen, I have this event report here. And he's like, well, can you send me all that? I said, sure, I'll be happy to. Yeah. So I sent her the before and afters, sent the report, also let the artist know that they might have to testify and to say that XYZ, whatever. And so the attorney's assistant called me back and said, yeah, we're good. We're not going to proceed. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Because that was probably been about $2,500 that they were back after.
So stupid.
So that's why I'm like, okay, if I say before and afters, that's what I mean. Because you've never walked this out before. I have. So I want to see some before and afters before I pay you.
And the thing is about like being a contractor and then also being a business owner, there's so much more. Like I really thought that I knew, because I was a contractor for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did not have the know-how of the business structure to be able to hire out other people, right? Like you all start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought, I was like, oh my God, this is so lame. I don't know why people do this. Like I questioned everything.
Yeah.
I mean, because.
And you can.
Right. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think there's two ways. There's you're ignorant because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that that's a bad word. I think it's just a misused word.
Right.
You really just don't know what you're doing, and you've never been on the other side, so you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so you just assume that like they're being nitpicky, or like the company's being nitpicky, or they have these dumb rules or whatever, but you really just don't understand. And so I remember feeling that way. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I have those conversations with all of my artists prior to them working an event. And I said, hey, this is why we do things. This is how we do things. And I set the precedence of, these are my expectations. If you can't fit this mold and you can't fit what it is that my standard is, then you're out. And I used to be very non-confrontational with people, and then I was like, it would cause problems in my business, and then I would have issues arise, and I'm like, well, damn, I could have just resolved this if I had a conversation with the artist before they even worked with me.
Right.
And so now I'm very diligent about, okay, this is how we do things, this is why we do things, and I'll over-explain and I'll overshare if you need me to. Some people don't need that. They're like, all right, got it.
Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah, and now some people are like, well, why? And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll have the whole conversation.
You're that person, sir. Yeah. And if they understand the big picture, then they're golden. They're like, okay, great.
You never have to be like, some people with the type of personalities they have, if they understand why, they're never going to do anything wrong because they understand the end goal, right? And some people are just rule followers. They're like, okay, give me every rule.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know every rule because they've never been in every situation, right? So it's like you kind of need to know the whole over picture of kind of what we're trying to achieve here, and then you can kind of go from there. But,
yeah.
And then as far as being like a contractor, it's like you're respecting people, you're following whatever it is that they want to do in their business and how they operate and how quickly they operate, like as far as timing goes, service goes, touch-up kits, like pictures, like there's so many details that everybody does it differently.
Yes.
And I do find that a lot of artists work for multiple companies, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to have those
That's
like little come to Jesus meetings sometimes, like, hey, I know that you work for this company and they do things this way, but that's not how we do things.
Right.
And so it does get a little messy. Sometimes the more I work with artists who are very booked and busy and work for multiple companies, like they have a certain, I will say this, I provide luxury and I charge a luxury price and I expect a luxury service, not just like the end result, but the whole experience.
Yeah.
Like I really require that experience, and I will say a lot of people in the industry do not care about that. A lot of them are in it just for the money, and so they don't require their artist the same level of things that I require. Yeah. And I'm like, well, am I an asshole? Or like, should this be the standard?
No, but that's you. And I feel like, I feel like people, when they are rushed through things and they're just about the money.
It's sloppy.
So sloppy. Yeah. And it doesn't hold up. The quality doesn't, it's like, you don't have the longevity. And then you don't have the experience. And then the sanitation is what is like an easy corner to cut. And girl, like
very easy.
Yeah. No, I've been like appalled at some of the people. I love working with other artists, but I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Yeah, like, and that's such a huge liability for the business that they're working for if you are not on point with that. You know, like that's why I personally would not ask somebody back. If I've seen their kit or they double dip or something, you know, just the nurse in me just cringes.
You're like, oh,
yeah, I'm like, you're gonna lose an eye, you know. But it's crazy. So ultimately, you know, how you want your contracted artists to behave is number one, respectful, moving business back to the business 100%. And not staying in the state of what is it called? Self-preservation, where they're like, oh, I can make more money on this client. You know, don't do that. That's shoddy. Like, just put it back to the business that is hiring you out.
Yeah.
And we talked about loyalty. We talked about sanitation is
Mm-hmm.
a big deal. We talked about another good question to ask is, okay, look at that person's website, look at their brand, look at how they're dressed, because I know
Personality.
what's that? Personality, all of it. So you can kind of mirror that whenever you show up to work and represent their brand, right? I think that's the responsibility of the contracted artist, and as a business owner who's contracting out, I'm going to hit all the points whenever we talk, and I have, the forms and stuff that they fill out, the things that they're supposed to read, but they don't. So that's what I expect from an artist is that do your homework and show up to represent my brand, and then I'll keep pushing things to you as long as it works out.
Yeah, if you're a contracted artist, like say I reach out to you and I'm like, hey, are you available for this event? This is this many services, this location, whatever, right? Yeah. And you accept that event and you're like, yeah, I'm on it. Your next question should be, what should I wear? How should I act? How do you want me to handle client interaction? Because if you've never worked for this company, you don't know. Yeah. Like, are you allowed to be posting on social media? That's a question you need to ask.
Yeah.
If so, how do you post on social media? Do you have to tag somebody? Like, is the client okay with you posting their photo on social media? Like, those types of questions is what you should ask. So what do I look like? What should I bring? How do I handle client interaction, and how do I handle social media? Those are the main things. And then obviously pay, right? Like, that needs to be discussed before you show up to an event.
Beforehand.
And when it's expected, how it's going to be delivered, like,
I feel
those
like
types of things.
Like artists nowadays, they expect you like as soon as you are done.
Sure, yeah.
Send payment.
And I'm like, well, you've never run a business, so you have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Well, I have 3 other events after this, so I will be back later this evening. But payment either will be the next day, usually, because I have kids to put to bed. Yeah. Or, whatever day that you designate. That Monday, the following. I used to have it on, I would do payroll every Thursday. That unacceptable.
God forbid.
No,
they have to wait 4 days.
Yeah, they have to wait 4 days for a thing.
I'm like, ma'am,
I get it. But
do you like
still?
Okay, let's just break this down. This is bridal, right? We're talking about special events, galas, weddings, a birthday party, whatever. Like these are people getting ready for an event. If you were in corporate, it's net 30 to 90 days. You're not getting paid till 30 to 90 days after the job has been completed.
Right.
They're not cutting checks,
crazy.
y'all.
Yeah.
Like, y'all bridal stylists do not know how good you have it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets paid. A lot of people do. I don't know how they do it. I can't. Yeah. There's no way. Like, first off, let me just tell you why I don't pay same day. Clients will come back and tip. Either that weekend or when they're back from their honeymoon, they'll like email and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to tip you guys. Can I like send you a tip? I'm like, yeah, of course. Right. Yeah. And then if that happens, I try to make sure that everybody that was involved gets a piece of the tip. Right. Yeah. So that happens pretty regularly, actually. Like they'll tip me out on like the next day, like, or that night, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then they'll like send me a couple $100. And I'm like, perfect. So now I can make sure that everyone gets that.
Right.
So there's like missing pieces, right? And then I also need to make sure that however many services that you did, they actually paid for it.
Yes.
Because sometimes like clients will just come in and be like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm getting my makeup done. And they don't double check it. And they're like, oh, shit, I did an extra service and nobody paid for it. And then I'm like, okay, I have to bill for that.
Yeah.
Like, not that I'm not going to pay you for the service, but like that's something that I need to know so I can bill for it.
Right. Exactly.
Or if they like brought extensions in and didn't pay for it, or like God knows what, right?
Or they add services on and then they give you a credit card or they pay online and it hasn't processed yet. I'm not going to pay out until I receive it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I do, because that's kind of like between me and the client sometimes. Like I'm just like, I need to eat it because I don't want to.
But I don't. Especially if they only do credit card. Now if they send Venmo or cash or whatever, that is immediate, like done. It is what it is. But I have had, a lot of life happen.
God, yeah.
Where I send them an invoice, they pay it or whatever. I think, it's paid, but it hasn't hit my bank account yet. And then they dispute it before. And so the bank,
never gets,
it never gets back to it. And I'm like, wait, what?
Bounced,
So that's why, again, proof that I provided the service before and after, even on add-on. So I could send that to the bank and say, no, they added it on and we completed the service. And this is
So that's only happened to me once. And it was a vendor who hired me. which was really nasty. But long story short,
did they hire you for services or like?
Yeah.
But it's a vendor that you know through the wedding industry.
Mm-hmm. It's a wedding vendor who hired me for their daughter's wedding.
Okay.
And so we don't need the whole story. The short of it is they added on like 7 hair the day of the wedding.
Jeez. How do you add on 7 hair?
There's a lot of backstory to that, but that's very irrelevant. So what happened is I texted 12. Okay, I have a long list of people that I know that do hair and makeup, and I had to stop what I was doing, push the whole freaking timeline back for the day, and I had to text as many people as I possibly could, pay them extra to come out there.
It's a last minute deal.
In like less than an hour. So I finally get someone to respond, right? Because everyone's already booked doing hair and makeup. No one can respond.
Yeah.
So I finally get someone to respond. They're like, so she shows up very quickly. Within the hour she gets there. And mind you, she lives like 45 minutes away. So this girl like got dressed in 15 minutes. She looked put together, got her shit together, got in the car and got there like within an hour and like knocks out all this hair and makeup and did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's so much to this story. There's so much.
It usually is.
So it's really, let's just say it's really freaking messy. And the mother of the bride is like joking about how her credit card got stolen. And I was like, stolen or declined? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So then she's like, so it's late. We're running late, right? It's like we're right before the ceremony time. And I'm like, the bride's getting dressed. They're having their moment. You know, like you're not going to interrupt someone getting dressed on their wedding day and having this whole beautiful moment with their mom. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not an asshole. Yeah. So then I'm just like, okay, I'm going to tiptoe out of here. We'll square up later. Because I'm thinking. You
kind of know this person.
I do know this person.
Okay.
Very well.
You do know. Not kind of.
Yeah, no, I know this person.
New.
Yeah. So, long story short, I send her an invoice and I tack on the additional artist fee and the travel for that artist because I had to pay for that and I had to figure that all out the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
And then she calls me on the phone and belittles me and she was like, what you're charging is outrageous. I think this is just, I've never had anyone talk to me so nasty in my entire life. And then long story short, she's like, I'm not fucking paying you. And I was like, cool. I send her a letter from my attorney and I'm like, you owe it. Granted, I had pictures with timestamps of everybody.
Yes.
And then she was like, well, I don't see who got these services. So I was like, okay. I put a cute little PDF together. Said client 1 this time, client 2 this time, client 3 this time. Yes. This many artists. This was our time frame. This is the time we started. This is the time we ended. And I have before and after pictures of every single person.
Girl. Okay.
Because my artists know what they're doing. Okay.
Yes girl.
So I put it all together in a cute little PDF and I sent it to her. And she's like, well, I'm not paying you. You don't deserve it. And I was like, yes, I do. So then I mail her a letter. And I was like, you have until this date to pay me or I'm taking your ass to court. And so
or even calling the cops for theft of service.
She pays me half and sends me a little handwritten letter in the mail. And she was like, don't ever contact me again. Do not use my photos for advertising, blah, blah. Like all this just nasty stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I sent it to small claims court and nothing's ever came of it yet. So I still haven't got my money, but we've tried.
Yeah.
And I had proof.
Yeah.
So
did you go to court on that?
No, I did the whole like small claims court. I just haven't finished it yet.
Okay.
So
well, to be continued.
To be continued. But I was like, I literally have proof of everything. What is your problem?
Yeah. Like, why would you do that?
Don't be such a cheap ass. Just pay me.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you? Like, especially if you are frienders or whatever.
It was, and that is the first time that's ever happened in my 10-year career.
Crazy.
Ever.
They're out there, guys.
Ever. And we do a lot of weddings. I know you were saying like 10% is certifiably crazy. Yeah, about 10%.
Well, no, it's 2 to 3% are certifiable. 10% of crazy happens, like just expect it, okay? But that's usually emotionally charged. At some point, you know, because there's stress or whatever. It's all in the mother and she breaks down, whatever.
Literally.
The Prozac didn't work that day, whatever it is. But certifiable nuts, like you need help. 2 to 3%.
Mental.
So if you're doing, 100 weddings
Get them
a year,
pictures is what we're saying. Get them pictures, girl. Save your butt.
yes,
for real.
Exactly.
That's funny.
So the math is that if you're doing 100 weddings a year, you'll see 2 to 3 events or people kind of roll out that you're like, shit.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but if you're doing 10 weddings a year, you probably won't see it.
No, not
Probably
at all.
won't see it. But if you're doing 500, you're going to see a little bit more. That's why it's so important to have your policies and everything in place to prepare for crazy. But most of the time, it just runs so smooth.
Yeah, so if you're a contractor working for a very large company and they have all these rules, there's a reason they have all of those rules. And the best thing is to just like COA, cover your ass, girl, and just do what they're asking you to do.
Yeah.
And don't burn bridges, because honestly, this industry is so small.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody knows everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody knows everybody. And if they don't, their friend does.
Yes.
Okay? Like, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, the amount of things that you see, and I really, we encounter so much craziness, okay? Like I said, we
high stress, high energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We specialize in weddings and events, okay? And those are emotionally charged events. That's why we can charge what we charge for those events, because we deal with it all the time.
High stress.
Right. High stress, high emotion.
Yeah.
But when we encounter that as a team, we really want to minimize the craziness and emotionally chargedness within the business itself. The business needs to be streamlined and calm, and there's reasons why, and that everybody's trained and on the same page, because as business owners, we're dealing with all the stuff that's coming at us and can come at us from time to time.
It's a lot.
We want to make sure that we're good, we're solid, we don't want to have to deal with all these extra problems and the back and forth and the texts and the feelings hurt and all of that. No, boo boo, it's just business.
Really though, it is just
head it
business.
Off in the beginning, versus dealing with it on the back end is the best way to do it, in my opinion.
No, for real. As far as contractor and the company goes, you both need to just have a little sit down, and it's better to have things in writing. I have everything listed out in writing.
Yes.
As far as when you're getting paid, how you're getting paid, what method do you prefer of payment, because I do different methods for people, whatever is easiest for them. And kind of all of that is discussed before they even have to ask me. So as far as a company and you're newer and you're trying to hire out artists, the main thing you need to do is figure out what system you're going to have in place, how you're going to collect photos, data, and payments for all of your artists. And you need to have that written down and have them sign it so you guys are on the same page. And your code of conduct, however you want people to do business.
Right.
Some artists will drink on the job.
Yeah.
Hell no, not me.
No, not me.
I'm not doing that. But sure, if your company wants to do that and you want to party with your clients, go ahead. If your clients want to smoke weed with your artists, that's on you. That's your business and how you operate, and there's no shame. That's just how you are, and then you'll attract those type of clients. But I don't want those clients, and I don't want to be attracting drunks and alcoholics.
Exactly.
No.
Or even giving those, you never know who's got the crazy. So that 2 to 3%, having them come against you in that, or giving them a foothold.
Oh my God, they were drinking, or they were high, or they were whatever.
Yeah, because they might be cool with it in the moment, but they ain't cool with it after, and we're easy
guarantee
targets.
that. Yeah,
we're easy targets
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about pay. Is there anything else that you want to include? Anything that you?
Not really. We talked about social media. Yeah. Other than just being a nice person, I don't think it's that hard to work for another company.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm just saying that because I've been on both sides, but yeah.
Well, I feel too, whenever I go to work for another company, first of all, I feel
Let's talk about pay, because that's a big one.
Okay.
A lot of artists just think that they're going to get paid whatever the company charges.
Oh, no.
That's very real. Very real. They're well, you charge $120 for makeup. Well, I'm not getting $120. Well, the cost to retain that client and the cost of sending the contract,
overhead, all of that.
There's so much. And you don't really know that or understand that until you have all of those expenses, right?
Yes.
And so if you're just an artist that's freelancing, you don't have that overhead that a company does.
Right.
Right? It's just very different. So
Right.
I will say industry standard, and if you want to actually make money as a bridal company hiring out artists to do the work for you, I've done the numbers. If you pay out your contractors more than 50 to 60%, there is no profit.
Yeah.
There's no profit whatsoever, and so you're just busting your ass managing this thing for no work.
Yeah.
And that's stupid. You might as well just not have a team.
Right.
At that point.
Yeah.
So you have to know going into it that you're going to make less money when you're contracted out for another company than you would if it was your own job, because you didn't have to find the client. You don't have to manage the stress of the client. You don't have to worry about if they're paying you or not paying you. You don't have to send a contract. You don't have to deal with any of that.
You just show up.
Like, you show up, you do your work,
with a clean
and
cut,
bounce out.
And that's it.
Like, and so your rate's going to be a lot lower than if you were the one booking the job.
Absolutely.
And so most of my contractors, we have that talk. I'm like, hey, what is your goal when you first come work for me? I'm like, do you want to do what I do, or do you want to just be an artist? And most of the time they say that they want to do what I do. And I'm like, great. Okay. Well, I can show you that. I can help you that, because I'm an open book, and I would love to show you what it's actually like.
Sure.
Because nobody talks about what it's really like owning a business and having contractors.
Right.
It's messy.
It's messy.
Very messy. So, after people have been with me for a couple months, they're like, I don't want to do what you do. I just want to be a contractor.
Yeah.
I was like, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Like, you can
There's a
have
place
this,
for that.
you can have this big dream without having the stress. Like, you can make the income and have the influence, I guess, online, and be this like social media makeup artist, right?
Right.
Without having to run the business that these other people run. Like, if
Yeah.
you want the fame and you want to be that like popular makeup artist, you can do that without having to manage and run a business. Right. I feel like you kind of are one or the other. Like, I feel like I'm kind of in between. Like, I do really well with the social media, and I think I do. I don't have like 100,000 followers or anything crazy, but like, I have
But you don't need to. It's quality over quantity.
I have a really strong community, and anytime I post something on there, I get personal messages. It's like very personalized and interactive with my clients. And then I also have the part of me that's I'm growing a team and growing contracted artists and helping them grow into be whatever it is that they want to be. And so a lot of times companies don't do that.
Yeah.
They are just like, okay, come work and then bounce out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I will say that artists feel that way. And my artists have said that about other companies. They're like, hey, I just feel like I'm just a number to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you kind of are. Like, I know that you feel like that, and you probably feel like you're underappreciated because they haven't been like, good job, or whatever their love language is, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever type of accolades they need. Like, they're not getting that from that other company. Mm-hmm. And so, and they voice that, and I'm like, okay, noted. Got it. People need that portion of it too if they want to stay around 100%. And be happy.
I feel like artists, though, like almost every artist's love language is words of affirmation.
Yeah, they're like, you're doing a good job, thanks.
Yeah.
Money talks too, but like, at the end of the day, they don't care.
Right. And like, for me, if I could pay my bills with compliments, I would be fine.
You're like,
money is just a byproduct.
It's
like,
a tool.
It is what it is. It's a tool. There's no emotion for me connected to money. Like I said, it's just a tool. But if somebody says, oh my gosh, you look beautiful, you did a wonderful job, I'm going to tell everybody about you. Oh my gosh, that's like, fills my little love tank, you know? Yeah,
when a client like shouts out and like gives me a review, and I'm like, oh. Yeah. So I have so for all artists wondering, listening to this, I have a review questionnaire thing that I send my clients. I'm like, how do we do? It's called How Do We Do? And it's like 5 questions, and it's like, okay, was your artist sanitary? Were they helpful? Were they kind? Were they those types of things? And then how did your hair and makeup hold up? And then what made you book with us? And I got one the other day, and it was a prom client, and she found us on Instagram, and she was like, your work and your something about the artistry and the skill was there, and that's all she needed. Yeah. And then she was like, I was really impressed with the way that you guys actually handled the appointment versus just being good at your job. Yes. I was like, oh. And it wasn't even me. It was one of my artists on my team. Yeah. And I haven't sent it to her yet, but I need to. But I was like, she needs to know. So I screenshot that kind of stuff, and I sent it to my artists, and I'm like, hey, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yes. Like, just know that people recognize the hard work that you're doing and, like, what you're doing here. Yeah. I see it. They see it. And then... yeah. You need to see it. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think, and it helps. And they're like, oh my God, okay. And then it entices them and gives them the motivation to want to do more because people saw it and they got excited about it and they tipped them well. Yeah. You know, it's just. it helps.
It just kind of, it's like a cycle, you know, it feeds back into itself.
I mean, I know it is a lot of work to like manage all of that and like give that to your artist, but like that's important. And I feel like that you need that piece to keep people around and keep them happy. And the artists want to be happy too. And if your artists are happy and fed, you're going to be happy and fed. And it's just like, it's a synergistic thing and it works together.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
And the more people you help and help them realize that, and you kind of like have them walk into your potential, the more you're going to get because you're facilitating that type of behavior, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, as far as like when you're going to, like for me personally, when I go to work for other companies, like I always want to make sure that I'm always putting my best foot forward.
That,
like
100%.
I want to do the best makeup I've ever done for that company because I want to represent that company well, you know, because they know that I'm, you know, I've been in it for 20 years and they're like, oh, you know, whatever. But that client, number one,
doesn't know you.
Has no idea. My clients research me and they're like, oh, I know all the reviews, all of that. They come in with a confidence that I don't have to work for. But when I go work for another company, that person doesn't know me.
You're just some girl doing makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Until we start talking and they start asking all the questions, right? But I've found too that I've actually hired contractors in the past that were supposed to be the same caliber, or at least make it look like they're in the same caliber as myself. And the work was horrible. The client experience was horrible. And I'm like, what?
And that
why would you want to represent?
I know exactly which situation you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that has to do with you just assumed that they stand on business the way that you stand on business.
Yes.
And they don't.
That's
and
true.
so
That was
like
my bad.
you don't assume anything because I've learned that exact same situation is like you still have to treat everyone the same no matter what their skill set, their lifetime in the industry. Like it doesn't matter. Like you still have to treat them like they're a newbie and they never ever worked with you before, and you have to set the standard and have that conversation.
Yeah.
And usually people with big egos, they cannot handle that and they're like, ugh,
yeah,
I'm better than you. I'm like, well, no, you're not, because you're not booked and busy and you're working for me.
Yeah.
So, like, not that that's an ego thing for me, but like, if I'm not booked a client and you ask me to come help with you, I'm like, yeah, sure,
let's do
whatever. Like, I don't have anything going on. I'll come help you.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it works. And I'm going to treat your client just the same that I would treat my client, if not better. Because I'm like, shit, I'm not representing myself.
Yeah.
Like, I got to represent you.
Yeah.
Like, the standard is high.
Yeah.
And as it should be.
But
some artists don't have that standard. Some companies don't have that standard.
Yeah.
Like the girls on my team, they talk about regularly, like they get 30 minutes for services. A lot of companies do that. And they're like, okay, push them out. Let's go. Yeah. And these girls, they openly talk about how, one, stressful. They don't sleep well the night before because they're like, I'm freaking stressed. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, like, and do a good job because they care.
Well, yeah, because they have to give up on something. Either you give up on time or you give up on quality. And if their time is constricted, they're going to give up on quality.
Yeah, and
that doesn't align with them.
That's exactly what they said. They're like, it's nice to have the money because you can make good money doing 30-minute services, right? Because your rate is a lot higher per hour.
Sure.
But your sanity, your stress levels, your kit, the amount, like, it's just, they openly talk about how it's not good for them and they don't enjoy it, and that their quality of service, they're like, I can't do a good service like I would with you because you give me an hour because I only have 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, those are the type of things that I'm like, okay, we have an hour. Take your time. Create an experience for the client.
Right.
And I openly, like, I just had a training the other day, and 2 new girls, they worked with me here and there, but they were like, I cannot do this anymore. This 30-minute stuff, this super quick in and out, like, check, let's go. Like, I just can't do it. I'm stressed. It's too much. It's just not worth it. And they're like, I openly said, I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not worth the money.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're right.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I do pay a little bit more, or maybe the same. I don't know what everyone charges.
Right.
But I said there's 2 types of artists. It's the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Or it's the quality and luxury. Which one are you?
Yeah.
Because, like, you got to find people that align with that. And, like, I think most artists start with this hustle and bustle 30 minutes because they're like, cool, I can make really good money. Let's go. And then you realize if you care and you really love the artistry, you really love creating art with hair and with makeup, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It does not work. You need this.
Yep.
So yeah, your bottom line might suffer maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But not really, because the tips make up for it.
Yep.
Your stress, the money that you have to spend to take care of your body does not outweigh the amount of money that you're making.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
like my chiropractor bills are a lot less.
Yeah.
I don't go to therapy.
Yeah.
I do cold plunging, but like I don't got no therapy bills. Like
Yeah.
I have other companies that I talk to, and they're like, my therapist, my coach, this, and I'm like, you wouldn't need all of that if you got rid of the things that made you stressed out and anxious.
Yeah.
You know, so I just eliminated all of those things in my business.
Yeah.
By eliminating crappy contractors.
Yeah.
And having a standard and having that conversation with people beforehand. Yeah. So, you know.
Well, I feel like that business, the hustle and bustle business, is very short-lived anyway. Very. Because you're not going to get the repeats.
It's not sustainable.
You're not. Yeah, it's not going to. It's good for a small time period.
When you're starting.
Yeah, when you're starting and you're just like trying to figure it out. But that's not, like you said, that's not going to create a career. That's going to create a quick job. And it's going to create a gig is what it's going to create.
Yeah. I mean, you've been, what, 20 years?
21.
I'm at 11.
Yep.
So you had this whole career before I even got into this.
Yeah.
And so much has changed in the last 10 years.
Yes. It does.
So like, imagine the whole 10 years before I was even there. Like you ran your business completely differently than I do now.
Oh yeah.
Right? As far as like having employees and contractors and like.
I run my business now completely different than I did when I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally didn't know anything.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, all I know is how to be an artist.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, and I thought like that I could give people what I wanted, but that wasn't sustainable.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Which is sad.
Like, so you go through that weird phase and then you lose people because you're like, hey, I can't afford to pay you guys what I'm paying you because that's what I would want to work for.
Yeah.
But once you understand the business side of it, you're like, I can't. There's
right.
No
well, there's so
way.
much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
And then you have to, you have to bring it back and invest in your business and care for your business just like you care for your artists and do all the things. But that business, if that's not first priority, then this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
And but how do you effectively tell someone like this is how you, in a nice way and not hurt their feelings, right? You're like, hey, this is business, and without listing out, okay, my QuickBooks every month is $160. My HoneyBook is this a month, this and this and this. Like, I don't want to have to list out all of my expenses.
It's not their business anyway.
Right.
That they're gonna glaze over and be like,
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. But how do you get an artist to understand that's new to the industry, right? Like have that conversation without being disrespectful towards them and saying, hey, I do know that you're worth what you're charging, but this is how business is run and this is what the rate is, without disrespecting somebody. You know, some people get very offended. And you're like, sorry, this is just the rate and this is just how business is. And I've lost artists that way.
And that's okay. They're free to go.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
You know, that's okay. And don't get your feelings. I know, like, my heartstrings get pulled and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry it didn't work out or whatever. Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like with that, like they have to understand that there is overhead. And how I explain it is, okay, you can be like, this is a business. We're putting back into marketing. We're doing all the things. We're putting into the standard, like, the streamlining,
I put a
all
Pinterest
of it.
board together for you. I have a portfolio for you.
Everything,
like,
right? There's a lot of time and energy that goes into it. So but you're booked all the time. Yeah. So yes, you might get a lesser, rate, and that's okay. But if you're getting a lesser rate frequently, that's way better than charging what you're worth. And that's not a bad thing, but doing your own events and only working once a month or once every 3 months or once every 6 months or whatever you thought you were going to do and something falls through, or maybe your contract didn't hold up, or
I feel like
whatever.
The progression, and I think maybe this timeline needs to be like put on a PDF or something to like send to people. It's because you first go through like, I'm an artist. This is what I'm worth. And then you go, okay, well, I'm going to go start working for other companies. Yeah. And then you're like, well, damn, I could do this myself.
Yeah.
And it's about a year and a half is what I've seen, is that they go from, okay, teach me, train me, I want to learn everything from you, to, okay, I got this, pay me more money. And then it's, I can do this on my own. You're not paying me enough. I'm going to leave.
Sure.
And then they go through this weird phase where they're like, should I have no bookings and no money?
Imagine
because it takes you 6 to 12 months to like book things, right? Sometimes like that, you need that lead time.
Right.
And so then there's 6 to 12 months that these artists, they're like, oh my God, I have nothing. And then they go get part-time jobs. And then they're not doing what they love anymore because they don't have the money. And then they burned that bridge with that company because they were like, well, I didn't get paid enough money.
Yeah.
Like,
but then at that time, you're like, I'll take whatever.
And so then they start discounting their rate to get more bookings. And then their quality starts suffering, and they're not making enough money to keep their kit sanitary and put new products in it and replace things. And then they realize, okay, this is what it takes to have a company. They were right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't wrong. They weren't treating me wrong. I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's like the cycle of...
Yeah,
I can't even tell you
artist.
how many artists have gone through that. Like, that's just how it goes.
If you could just start off humble.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought I was humble, and then I was like, I deserve more. But I did, and I've done it. And that's the difference, is I hustled through it, and I did the work, and I knew that I could achieve it, and I worked towards it.
Yeah.
Some people think they can achieve it, and they can't, and they're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Hey.
I feel like, but you can be humble and hustle at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's what it boils down to is, but I can't stand when people are like, oh, I can go make more, and they try to be shoddy about it, and you're like, actually, no.
Yeah,
that's not how
it's the
works.
sneaky, snaky, and like,
I can't do it.
go behind your back and like,
can't do that. That doesn't show the circumstance. That shows the character, and if the character doesn't align with how I characterize myself and then also run business and how I do business, then it's not a good fit for the team, and that's on them.
Yeah.
Because I understand circumstance. I understand needing to make more money, and that's a conversation we can have. We can talk about, marketing this one artist or whatever to get them more bookings. We can do that, boo-boo. But as far as being schemy and all of that, like, no, that's a character issue. It's a character flaw, actually, and I'm not going to have that in my circle or in my vicinity within my arm's reach. No. Bye-bye. So that's just how I roll.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people could just, number one, have conversations and have hard conversations respectfully.
People just can't do that, though.
Yeah, but it would save so much of that. It saves that whole life cycle.
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just starting off on the right foot, and that way you gain traction instead of having to reinvent the wheel and reinvent yourself and recreate and have to go build more relationships.
Sometimes it has to do with the leader, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it has to do with the lack of confidence and like mental availability to have hard conversations.
Yeah.
Some people genuinely cannot do it. They literally do not know how to communicate with people, and it's just because they just are so, there's so much going on in their life, and they just can't handle it.
Yeah, I get it.
And so it's
so raw.
They
can be so raw, and I get that, and I've been there. I've been there too. Where you just don't have the capacity for it. You have to. But you have to. You have to open it up.
It's the difference between a leader and just a person owning a business.
Yeah.
Like, is being able to pull those conversations out of people without disrespecting and hurting people's feelings.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's rough.
Very tough.
For sure. All right. So then, okay. So is there anything else that you want to add? I mean, we talked about social media. We talked about pay. We talked about how to interact with clients and represent the company.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much
most of it.
A lot of it, right? Another thing that's in the news, the FTC has banned non-compete clauses. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many salon owners right now, their heads are spinning and their eyes are bulging out of their heads because they don't know what to do. They're working out of fear. And that their company, they're going to lose artists and all the things, right? So I just wanted to touch on that because that's a big thing in the news right now. And it's this the thought is, and I read an article yesterday from the FTC saying that it's going to create more jobs, create more innovations, more businesses, and their big number that they said in the next years to come, each year it's going to estimate about 8,500 more new businesses. I'm like, out of 30 million people that are affected by non-compete clauses, and I was like, that's a very small percentage. I think it's going to be more than that. I think the math ain't mathin' on the FTC's quote. It was the head person who quoted that. I was like, oh, that's not right. But it's going to create more businesses. I agree with that. It's going to create more innovation, and that it's going to drive wages up to be more competitive, because their argument was that wages are going to be held down because that person is contracted by a non-compete, so they can't go to a higher paying place, and provide the same service or work. Yeah. So that's why now in our type of business, when you're dealing with contractors, I'm bringing this back around to contractors. Okay. So you cannot have a non-compete. Well, you can have a non-compete, but it's usually not enforceable. Because you have to have like a time frame, you have to have distance, location, and especially in our business, there's no true. I mean, we go on site all the time, so it doesn't even make sense to do that. Other than just if you put that in there, it's just a control factor, And so I feel like when there's a lot of control, there's a scare tactic. But when you're trying to attempt to have that much control, you're going to choke out your organization, first of all. And then you're operating out of a place of fear and not faith. Okay. So those are two different postures, two different mindsets. And if you're operating, I'm talking to salon owners and all the ones that try to enforce this, your business isn't growing anyway, because your business, again, it grows at the speed of trust, right? So that means that the customer has to trust you, and your team has to trust you, right? So if they don't trust you and you have them by the neck, they ain't trusting you. They're just there because it's a paycheck.
They're forced.
They're forced to, right? So that's a really big thing. And plus, when you have contractors, you really can't control them that much anyway. And it actually works against you to have that, because that now is more in the employee category versus the contracting category. So the IRS is going to pick up on that too.
And then they're entitled to compensation. Like if you treat someone as if they're an employee, they're entitled to employee benefits.
Yes.
So don't do that.
So think twice. But anyway, so do you have anything that you wanted to add on about this whole thing that's in the news,
non-compete?
FTC? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple things. So for contractors, I think it's a good thing they're allowed to go work wherever, whenever they want and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 5-10 years ago, it was like you work for one company, you're loyal, and you don't go anywhere else.
Right.
But now that it's so saturated, the work, not for myself, but for other artists that I see, that the work is not as consistent. And so working for one company, you can't do that and pay your bills. Like you're not going to have enough work. So like you have to go work for other companies. And I think it's great for business owners, because now your contractors are booked and busy.
Yes.
They're learning the industry. They're practicing. They're getting better. The more that you do, the better you're going to get, usually, if you care. Or you run into things like you only have 30 minutes, right? Yeah. So, but for
they realize, oh man, I had it so good over here. Yeah. Let me just
and then you find the people that really that value and appreciate what it is that you're doing, because then they see that that's not how it is everywhere else.
Amen. Yeah,
so right. I think that it's eye-opening, and you don't have to be the bad guy being like, well, we're the shit because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You don't have to do that, because they see. Yeah. Because they work for other companies. Right. Right? And that's honestly, it has been so nice, because I haven't had to have that conversation with anyone yet. Yeah. They're the ones that they were like, Katie, we really appreciate everything you do.
So good.
And I'm like, thank you. Like, because before I had to be like, these assholes do not appreciate me. You know, like they're just like, gimme, 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 gimme.
Yeah,
and
they're
I'm
just
like,
taking. You're
and I'm like,
don't
I have
think
nothing
that.
left to give, guys. Okay, like you sucked it all out of me. No, but I think that they learn faster, and then they appreciate what you're doing based on how you operate.
Yeah.
And then they're more likely to work with you because they enjoy that versus working up there.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a win-win for everybody if you are doing the right thing as a company,
right?
And you're treating your contractors the right way, then it's a win-win. And if you're not, sorry about it, be better.
Like, be better. I don't know what to tell you.
So like if you're losing your contractors left and right, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And when I was losing my contractors left and right, it's because I couldn't pay them enough. And I was like, understandable, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to restructure and then wait for my new rates to kind of kick in so I could kind of pay you guys. And so I was actually making money.
Yeah.
So
growing pains. That's,
it was
part of a business too. And I think as a contractor, it's important to realize that there are going to be growing pains. Things can change. So. If things stay the same, that's not good. You're not moving with the industry.
And it's important to lose people.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I think it is. Mm-hmm. People get complacent.
Yeah.
And they kind of take advantage because they've been there for so long sometimes. I find that, like, when you do a price increase and you lose some clients, it's usually the ones you didn't want around.
Right.
That didn't respect you. They didn't respect your talent. They didn't see the value in what it is that you were offering. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, whatever, I can just go somewhere else. I'm like, you can. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And same thing with artists. Mm-hmm. Like your artists are your clients. Mm-hmm. If you think of as a contracted artist as a client, then you need to treat them as if they are a client, because without them, you have no business.
Right. That's true.
They are the bloodline to your business.
Right.
Without them, you can't service these clients. So the two kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
So you have to give them incentives and like treat them and attract those artists.
Right.
So you can also attract those clients and they can work together.
Yes.
Like it's kind of just synergistically working together.
Yeah.
It's important.
So good.
So I think this is going to be a good thing, and that hopefully people get their shit together and start being nice.
Yeah.
And playing fair.
Playing fair. That's a big deal.
And also just having that conversation with so I will say one of the, I'm not going to name a company, but they went from contractor to employee and all of their people left because they're like, well, I'm going to make less money. I'm like, no, girl. Sure, your monthly is going to go down, but at the end of the year, all your taxes are paid.
Yes.
Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Like, girl, what? And then you can still keep your business and you can run everything through there and still get all your same write-offs. Like, it's a win-win. So I think that boils down to not being educated enough.
Exactly.
So understand what it means to be an employee, what that looks like as far as taxes, write-offs, whatever, and then also understand what it means to be a business owner. The tax codes are different.
Yep.
Very different. Mm-hmm. There's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So
there is. And if you can, like in that situation, if they were working for a company to where they were an employee, okay, and their taxes and stuff are taken out or whatever, but they still can have a business on the side.
Yeah, girl, do it.
Oh, best of both worlds, right?
100% best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You have consistent pay.
Yeah.
Someone who's going to take care of you no matter what.
Yeah. And you get a refund at the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay. And then, but you also have your deductions.
And then you can also, because there's no non-competes now, you can also have your company and take your own clients. Like, that's a literal best case scenario.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I understand tax code and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just about educating yourself. They felt, because I heard multiple people say, like, well, they're just taking advantage of us. I'm like, girl, no. The company is actually doing you a favor.
Yeah.
You just don't understand what they're doing yet because they haven't told you.
Yeah.
So I think that was a mishap on the company's part for not being like, hey guys, these are all the benefits that you're about to get from us.
Right.
And this is a good thing and this is why.
Yeah.
They were just like, hey, here's a change. You're in or you're out.
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
You don't do that. So I think it was a level of miscommunication, and they lost some really good artists because they didn't communicate effectively.
Dang. It's a bummer.
But sad. So I'm like, there's pros and cons to both and everything. And like,
I think it boils down to, just having the, just communicating and having that boldness and that security in yourself as a business owner, knowing your stuff. First of all, you got to know your stuff, and then
being
also
approachable
and relatable. to your team and transparent too.
Yeah.
You know, but not like too transparent.
I'm guilty
But
of
just
that.
saying, you know, like you said, like this is what we're doing and this is why, because it's going to work out for you in this way. And, you know, you can still keep your business on the side. And so you get your deductions here, which are great for you. It's going to keep your income up over here. And then we're going to take care of the taxes and everything, all the list of benefits as an employee. Hopefully they do. Yes, if they should be.
Yeah.
Check
If they're standing on their business.
Right.
It's funny.
Ultimately. But okay, so all right. Well,
good.
This is so good, and thank you for coming again. I'm so excited. We always have wonderful conversations, even like just when we're hanging out or doing talking, going to lunch or whatever we're doing. I love talking about business and saying,
fun.
it's same for you, and just getting different strategies and all that. So, but anyway, I appreciate your insight.
Of course.
I appreciate everything that you do. And until next time.
Yeah. Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
All right.